there's 18 people all of a sudden.
It doesn't show me. I can't see you live yet.
No, me neither.
I don't see you live yet either.
But I am live. I feel live.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. The trigger.
It is. I don't see anybody either. Oh, here we go. Hallelujah. Donna is the first one out of the gate. And she's waving. Okay. Thank goodness. People Annoy Me joined. I love that. Where do people get their names? Okay. Hello. So we are ready with our questions. If you guys have questions, put them in the chat or the thing or the deal or whatever. Oh, I love you too. Hey guys. If you have questions that you want to ask, you can always email them in to advocate@specialeducationacademy.com. This weekend is the last, November 11th and 12th will be the last 2-day intensive. Did I just hold up one finger? 2-day intensive. Saturday from 9 to 5 Central Standard Time. Still have time to jump on and register for that 2-day intensive class because a lot of you guys are going to be doing the pivot at Christmas break. You are. Because if you go back to your job, you might be a table. And we don't want that for y'all. So, all right, ladies, questions.
Right. How do you respond when the school district will not give you a copy of the evaluation and draft IEP? We are trying to schedule the IEP meeting to review the IEP and evaluation, but they do not want to do the meeting unless it's during regular school break. How do I respond?
Whatever meeting I'm going to participate in, whether it's with my broker, a board that I sit on, a PTA meeting, I always come prepared. So when you deny a parent's written request for a draft of the completed IEP evaluations, the draft components of the IEP document, you're denying them meaningful participation in the IEP process because you got to see it ahead of time. And so it really inhibits the ability for the parent to meaningfully participate, to be an IEP team member, and to stop the allegation and filing of predetermination.
All right. I have a child with severe autism who is entering middle school next year. She will be placed in the CDC classroom most of the day. However, in this classroom, they get no general ed time at all, and they even have to eat lunch in the classroom. She has been in elementary school and goes to Encore daily. Even if it's not a successful attempt, they still try it. Is it legal for the middle school to not allow her any gen ed time with non-disabled peers?
So it's not about is it legal for the middle school. The IEP committee determines the student's LRE, least restrictive environment, and that simply says it's a consideration that we must do as IEP team members. It says that we educate students to the maximum extent possible with supplementary aid supports and strategies with their non-disabled peers, as long as there's meaningful benefit. There are some students that their LRE, their least restrictive environment, is in a fully supported self-contained class. So certainly I would go to the committee and talk about considerations for time that would be appropriate for her IEP to be implemented in a general ed setting, whether that is ancillary time, electives, PE, music, art, those sorts of things, lunch. It would be very surprising that there would be a benefit to never being around non-disabled peers.
Great. What do you do if a gen ed teacher keeps sending out an ESE student who has support facilitation? The gen ed teacher keeps referencing the Teacher Authority Act in Florida.
The what?
I didn't mean to laugh, sorry.
The Teacher Authority Act in Florida. That sounds fantastic.
Yes,
I have no idea what that means. So we implement the IEP as agreed upon with fidelity. If it's not being implemented with fidelity, then you're being denied FAPE. So you're either delivering FAPE or you're denying FAPE. So I don't know what sort of act like your Grown in Florida act she's talking about, but you implement the IEP or we're going to have to file to invoke our rights as parents.
Okay, so can a person in an alternate certificate,
You know what? Speaking in full sentences at nighttime during daylight savings time, it's a challenge, isn't it?
It is for me. All right. Can a person in an alternative certification program write IEPs and teach special education?
You're either a certified special educator or you're not. And if you're not one of those, you're unable to write the components of an IEP.
Exactly. All right. I got my son's first progress report. It's a list of assignments.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Maybe they got confused, but the IEP progress report is going to tell you if the student made expected gains on the IEPs by grading period, what those percentages were.
Yes, and then there was a follow-up. How should I address that with the school?
Thank you for the list of whatever that you sent me. Please let me know when I can receive the student's IEP progress reports.
Excellent. All right. A student on my caseload got into a fight and is now suspended, but the administrators never informed me. Is there anything I can do about that?
The administration doesn't have to inform you if they have a disciplinary action for a student, whether they're gen ed or special ed. Might be helpful to know if it affects your schedule, though, certainly.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, my son has been sent home on home instruction. We're on day number 10, but no instruction.
Wow, that sounds like he hasn't been sent home on instruction. It sounds like he's just been removed from the school and he's been denied a free appropriate public education.
All right, my son's teacher has a supplementary license, but no coursework, or training. Can she provide SDI?
You're either a certified special education teacher and you can provide special education, or you have been a witness to a crime. You have an educational need, and then there are students that educational need, the acuity of it is not as severe as it used to be. Whether it's autism, there are kids that have reading difficulties, there are kiddos that have autism, emotional disturbance, ADHD, seizures, and for whatever reason, for whatever interventions we've done, the way that disability presents at school no longer rises to the level of needing specially designed instruction.
All right, thank you. I am a paraprofessional. One of my students who is autistic gets pushed out into the general education classroom. They hit the teacher and were suspended for it. Is there anything that we can do to protect the children? I'm not condoning hitting or aggression toward teachers, but the autism community should be protected to some degree.
I mean, everybody should be protected to all degrees, right? And so that is unbelievably unfortunate. I think it's so sad, and obviously many of my advocates are past teachers. When teachers ask for support and help, they're denied that by leadership, and that is why a lot of these things occur in classrooms.
Okay. I have a 4-year-old with autism, but the school doesn't want to provide him any services or do any evaluations. Is there anything I can do?
So when a child is not yet of kindergarten age, if you want him tested, you should know that the primary criteria for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds that aren't in kindergarten yet is that they have a speech impairment, and usually it's a profound speech impairment. So if that is an educational need that you see, and additionally emotionally, behaviorally, academically, cognitively, functionally, then you can certainly ask for special education testing.
Okay. What are your thoughts on related services using individualized rubric for data? I make a different one for each student and each goal. Each session is scored and then graphed at each trimester for parents. Is that okay?
It sounds wonky. So wonky is not a legal term, but I don't know what the Hello Kitty that is. So I would say, what? We don't make a rubric for an IEP goal. The language of an IEP goal sits inside the IEP goal. So that if Quinn picks it up, Alicia picks it up, Christina picks it up, we're all doing the same thing. There is no rubric somewhere for an IEP goal. There's certainly general information I'm going to provide them ahead of time. I might say, my client Quinn and I are looking forward to coming to the meeting. Tuesday, we'll be asking for a new testing in the speech area for pragmatic and to see if he still qualifies for articulation. Additionally, we're going to ask for a psychological evaluation to include student interview and consideration of counseling as a related service. Important components that require discussion, I'm not going to send ahead of time. So when I think that the goals are, what's the word I'm looking for? Jacked up. I don't really know whether they're jacked up. So if I just say fix your goals, it just sounds very pointed. I need to first, as I train you guys in the 2-day, I need to have a conversation during the present levels to make sure that we have all of that data. Usually the IEP goals are terrible because you know what else is terrible? The BLAF. Your present levels of academic achievement and functional performance are awful. And they tell me some random information, but they don't tell me how the student's disability impacts them across settings.
All right. My 13-year-old son with Down syndrome was lost at school today. He left a few minutes before I got there to pick him up, and a police officer found him 30 minutes later, blocks away from the school. I don't know what to do or even where to start. Do I file a claim against the school?
So, a claim against the school is predicated on a violation of IDEA. So, what part of the IEP did they violate? Do you have it in the IEP that they are in proximity of him from car to car, from bus to bus, from bell to bell, or does he dismiss with his other, classmates? So, kids do get away from adults. So, I would first make sure that the IEP is solid and how we're going to serve him during the instructional day is there. It is okay. It is recorded. I don't know why, you guys. My Wi-Fi is unstable. Probably my ex-husband is in here, but the recording is going to be fantastic. Sorry, Gina.
Can a student who has an IEP for speech only also have a 504 for ADHD accommodation?
Gina, this is not comedy hour. This is not SNL. This is serious.
I'm trying not to laugh.
I have words, but I'm going to keep them inside. I'm just going to keep them inside. You either have a 504 or you're at a higher level of need and you have an individualized education plan.
Yeah. All right. Can you explain LRE?
Okay. So LRE is a consideration, least restrictive environment. The law requires us to educate students with disabilities to the maximum extent possible with their non-disabled peers with supplementary aids, supports, and strategies. There are times that's not able. We're not able to do that. So we have to look at a more supported setting for them outside of general education.
All right. I'm a teacher and I have a student who is physically aggressive with me multiple times a day. How can I get help?
No, you would need to reach out to your boss, your principal, and ask how they're going to rectify that situation so everybody can learn in a safe environment.
Exactly. What do you do if a parent refuses to get updated hearing and vision testing for a re-eval?
There's nothing you can do about the physical part. So hearing and vision, you can't make them do that.
What do I do if I have a nonverbal first grader and we're attempting to use a device at school, but I don't think it's being used?
So you can pull the minutes off when you get home. All devices have a way to track them, their usage, and how much time is used during the day.
Excellent. What is happening in 31 minutes?
My Wi-Fi will be stable. And we have the academy. And we have big announcements. Are we going to share the announcements, Christina? I'm waiting for Alicia to give me the drum roll of the announcement, but it's like birthday cake. Yeah, so we have the academy where we will continue our series, every page of the IEP.
I drum rolled, but nobody heard me.
No. I can't do that. The dog will start barking.
Go. There was your drum roll.
Do you want me to announce myself? That's not how it works. Like when Miss America walks out, I don't go, hey, I'm Miss Pennsylvania. Now I'm Miss America. Soon to be competing in Miss World.
I feel like, yes. Why don't you tell them the amazing news, Karen? Tell them.
Okay, tell them. So we're very excited. I'm going to be partnering with Spedster, their online special education platform. They're going to be bringing together schools, admin, parents, advocates, attorneys, and they've brought me on board as the executive vice president of child advocacy. So we're very excited, and we're starting. Thank you. We're starting a 3-part webinar series. It's going to be 9 hours long. That includes Dr. Mitchell L. Yell. If you don't know who he is, he's ridiculously amazing. He's a scholar. He's a due process hearing officer in South Carolina and trains schools all over the nation, and is amazing. So we hope to see you guys on that webinar series training. There is a financial investment, but you can certainly get together with your friends and watch it together. We've never ever had an expert advocate, an expert administrator, and an expert due process hearing officer training and giving you the ability to ask some questions.
Now, is that going to change anything that you do, Karen? Is that going to change the academy and your trainings and any of that?
I mean, I'll have to stop, doing as much swimwear modeling, but no, nothing's going to change for the trainings. So our next training is going to be this weekend, November 11th and 12th. 2 full days of live interactive training, the last 2-day intensive of the year. And then Monday, November 20th at noon and 6, and then November 27th at noon and 6, and then December 4th at noon and 6 is our 6-part webinar series with myself. I've been a special education advocate for 27 years. Dr. Kurt Hewlett, who's been in special education for 28 years as an administrator and a teacher, and a due process hearing officer, the great Dr. Mitchell Yell. It's going to be amazing. You can get that information at advocate@specialeducationacademy.com.
Exactly. All right. How can I request the school to get training on autism spectrum disorder? They don't know how to handle elopement or what behavior is.
Right, so usually most schools have a behavioral specialist at the district level, or I would ask for, usually have educational regional areas that can come in and provide that training either on digital modules or in person for districts at no cost.
All right, what if you have really bad goals and no baselines in the present levels? Can we request another meeting?
Well, you can request present levels, right? So we're going to need another meeting so everybody has time to gather information, right? What is their reading level? Are they in the norms and average range for math? What does their writing look like? What are their WCPMs? What's their independent reading? What's their instructional reading? How does their disability impact them across settings? What does it look like during transition? How is it going at lunch? Did you see what popped off at recess? And we need to have language from every single educator that works with the student.
We have a Catherine, she's in the comment, she submitted a question ahead of time and it froze, so she didn't get to hear it, and she's very nervous because she goes to the IEP meeting. So she was the one who asked if she should let the school know ahead of time what she's wanting to have a meeting about because she's worried they're going to meet and solidify their answer.
No, Catherine. Don't. If you're worried, there's a reason. You've got a great little informant called your gut. Listen to that, and then make sure that you're recording your meeting so that everything that was discussed is clean and clear.
Perfect. And then we have one that said IEP services are stalled because the teachers are on strike. So what happens now?
Same thing that happens. Stalled, unstalled, your radiator busted. You can't find your hairspray, you have a flat tire, your keys are locked in your car. If your child was denied FAPE, flood, FAPE, Harvey, hurricane, COVID, if the student didn't receive FAPE, they were denied FAPE. and the school will be required to make that up for parents that require it. Was she just making fun of my hand movements? I'm very much a talker. I'm so glad to have a team of people that work on things that I could adjust. Not that it matters.
All right, last year my son was bullied on the special education bus by another student who has an IEP. Last year I tried talking to the student's parents, the school, and the police, but they were all dead ends. This year they were not put on the same bus until this week. That child has now been moved back to my son's bus because of his bad behavior on his new bus. What can I do to protect my son?
If your son hasn't been harmed, it's very hard to get those boys or those children separated. But as it relates to safety for your child, if your child's safety has been broached, then I would ask for different transportation for your child. You can't make it about another student. But that's what I would do.
My son is 6 years old and repeating kindergarten. He initially got his IEP when he was 4 for speech and OT. Since then, I got a formal diagnosis for ADHD with recommended accommodations. I also asked for academic goals to be added because he can't count past 15 and doesn't know many of his letters and sounds. The school said they are treating him like it is his first time in kindergarten. Is this right to you?
Sounds terrible to me. Sounds like the We Be Teachers Act of the International Global Galactica. If your child is struggling in school, emotionally, behaviorally, academically, functionally, communicative, and they're not in the normed range, then we would believe that he has a suspected disability. We're asking for full testing to address all areas of suspected disabilities.
My son is in the 4th grade and has had the same goals for the last 3 years. I asked the school about it and they tell me he's working on the goals, but on his progress reports every trimester it indicates that he's on track to meet the goal for the year. Why do they keep repeating the goals if he's on track to meet them? What can I do?
So we get new goals every year, whether you made them, didn't make them, kind of made them, pulled up to them, right? So that was one of the components of our biggest special education case. It was before the U.S. Supreme Court, March 22nd, 2017, Andrew F. versus Douglas County School in Colorado. And part of that problem was that we kept repeating the same goals. So we're going to repeat this goal because he didn't make it. No, you change what you're doing, how you're doing it, when you're doing it, and the modality, so that he can make expected gains. But of course, if he's not making the goal, you probably have terrible baselines.
Okay, my son is in special education and they sent home an RTI form. Why both?
Oh my gosh. I love how you guys make up questions. So you could be in special education, but have RTI for a specific section. So let's say that your child is an IEP for behaviors and reading. He might be now in RTI for math. So that is a possibility.
Okay, my daughter just lost her ABA services. She uses a tablet to communicate. I'm wanting to enroll her in pre-K. Would that be an IEP?
If she has a profound speech impairment and you've had her tested for special education and related services, that's a high probability.
Okay, my son is diagnosed with ADHD. We're trying to get a plan in place, but the school keeps suspending him. What should I do?
So, you can have a behavior plan under a 504. So I'd ask for a 504 plan to be implemented while we're waiting for the special education testing to return.
Okay, can you provide prior written notice and a draft IEP 1 month after the PPT?
Well, it wouldn't be a draft anymore if it's a month later. It would be a burnt to a crisp in the oven IEP. The prior written notice is legally required to come in within a reasonable time. I wouldn't call a month a reasonable time.
All right. Can a teacher share my child's IEP information with another parent?
With another para or another parent?
Parent.
If the other parent has an educational need to know about that. So if the other parent is, I don't know, the orchestra teacher at the school, but if they don't have an educational need to know, then it's going to be Yes, Alicia. Where you got your hands up, playing my song.
Well, it's time for rapid fire questions, ma'am.
Okay, which will go great with the terrible Wi-Fi.
It's gonna look great.
It's gonna be.
They better start adding some emojis, though. I'm a little disappointed in this crowd tonight. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. All right, you ready?
She's kidding.
Okay. As a SPED teacher, how do I speak up when I see so much wrong legally happening?
You are probably putting your job in jeopardy. So it's unfortunate, which is why 4 or 3 out of the 4 of you were special education teachers, and now you all work for Special Education Academy because you tried to speak up and you were told, we're not interested in that. Oh, we love you too, Donna.
We love you the mostest. All right. Can my son's school require Saturday school if he was out due to a concussion?
Yep.
Perfect. Can the school undiagnose my child if they have a medical diagnosis for years only because he's doing well?
So schools don't diagnose or undiagnose. I don't think we've ever heard that. Only medical professionals have the ability to make diagnoses. Schools, based on their information, can make a determination for the committee to consider.
All right. How do you file a 504 complaint?
With your fingers on a keyboard. With the U.S. Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights, you would go in and we're going to actually have a webinar on that probably in the next 2 weeks. A free webinar for you guys. Would you be interested in a free webinar on the basic components of filing an OCR complaint? If you would, say that in the comments below. Can you do that?
Because if you don't say it, you're not getting it.
She didn't mean the way that sounded.
All right. Are the teachers... Oh, no, we already answered that one, ma'am. We've already answered that question.
I think she's talking to herself.
What?
Okay.
Okay, ma'am, listen. Can a public school deny a one-to-one paraprofessional?
A public school can deny a request from the parent. Absolutely, they can. Whether or not it's legal, it's going to be determined by the feelings and response from the IEP committee and whether or not the parents exercise their dispute resolution options.
Okay, this one is from a teacher. How do I prove to a parent that her kid has his AAC device all day if he doesn't use it?
So he doesn't use it. You use it. You have to model your AAC device with his. So it's not, the onus is not on him to pull out his alternative augmented communication. It's the job of the school-based members to teach that alternative language to him in a like system.
Okay, should specific medications related to ADHD be listed on the IEP?
There's a section that talks about a student's physical needs that usually links to an IHP, an individualized health care plan. So yes.
Oh, so she responded and said, I model with my classroom device and core boards, but he just isn't using his. Or he isn't independent yet.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that.
Okay. So a SPED teacher here, how do I protect myself if I put in writing and admin knows better?
You might have to consider getting another job. I mean, I wouldn't stay working and I worked at coffee shops. I worked at the Cheesecake Factory when I was so young I could wear white pants. It was a very long time ago. But if I was ever at a job where the person in leadership wasn't leading, and the first thing you do at a job to lead is to make sure that it's a safe environment so that people can come and do the job they were hired to do, then you have to realize, that it's time to go. I saw an ad, I won't tell you for where, today from T-Case. And they're having a conference. You know what the name of the conference is, you guys? Remembering your why. You know what? Why not? Here's my why not. Why not you do your job? I don't even know what that means. We all have a reason that we go to our jobs. Almost every teacher I know is because they love children. I don't know why some schools feel so comfortable not supporting their teachers at all in trainings, resources, coverage, information, research, just all of the things. But we love you. We are so grateful for teachers. We are so grateful for special educators. We're so grateful for instructional providers. We're so grateful for related service providers. We love paras. And we would like to smack everybody that doesn't support school-based members in the face with a wet washcloth that had needed to be washed for quite a while. Is that too much? Is that, I feel like it might be too much, but I feel like it's accurate. Right, Gina?
Okay, listen. So my daughter's making her little brother a cup of ice over there. So, okay. You hear that?
No, we don't hear anything.
Okay, good, perfect. Okay, so we have parent request 18 or older student exit high school, but they haven't met his transitional goals. What happens?
So he should have been working on his transitional goals for years. If he's continuing the 18 to 21 program, you can continue to work on that set of coordinated activities for him to reach them. So I'm going to just answer a question that's been asked. If you need to contact us, whether it's for records review, representation, if you want one of us to come and present or speak at your event, you would reach out to advocate@specialeducationacademy.com.
Perfect, Sean. Okay, sorry.
What was that? What was that? No, Sean. Was that like a sneeze?
In New Jersey, does a kid have to qualify for speech and language therapy in order to maintain an autism eligibility?
No.
Perfect.
However, if you have autism under the DSM-5 criteria, part of that is you have a profoundly impacted in your verbal and nonverbal communication. So I'm thinking you probably meet the area of pragmatic. However, most speech and language pathologists, unless they're required to, do not just out of the gate add pragmatic onto a speech and language evaluation. So when you get a speech and language evaluation, you need to use these words. Just want to confirm that you're going to include all areas, including pragmatic.
Okay, perfect. Should a mom have to help administer testing since she wouldn't be in class?
I don't know who's filming this, but I mean, I should have been a little ready. I should have been growing out my bangs tonight. What? The mom is not delivering the IEP. No.
Okay, so I'm going to summarize all of Alicia's comments. Are you ready? It's not me. She has a very good name, just like mine, but not. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Our son has a medical diagnosis of autism. The school is not saying that he has an educational eligibility of autism.
Okay.
So she is wondering, how can they say that I'm lying about my son's diagnosis?
So it's not about are you lying about your son's diagnosis. If the characteristics of his disability don't impede his learning or the learning of others during the instructional day, there's no educational need. And I have a lot of kiddos that have autism and they met eligibility, but because it's a spectrum, it does move. Maybe the students learn behavioral supports. A lot of kids have what I call the white minivan door syndrome, and they hold it all together during the instructional day and sort of let it out when they get home. But you have to have an educational need that shows up in the classroom that rises to the level of an adult providing specially designed instruction.
Okay, so are you ready to tell everybody how to join you in the academy?
I'm ready for you to tell them because nobody says it like you do.
Okay, all these ladies are going to help me by typing it into the chat. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to www.specialeducationacademy.com. At the top of the screen, you will see a training tab. You're going to go ahead and click on that. Now listen, the big picture right now, Kung Fu, IEP Kung Fu, it's happening. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. For more information on that in a minute. So what you're going to focus on is the square that says the Academy. You're going to click on that. You're going to fill out all of your information. Yes, including your credit card information. And then hold on.
And then there'll be a little thing that says, have a coupon? And you're going to click on, yes, I have a coupon. And then you will type in TikTok Live in all caps. TikTok Live.
Yes, and then TikTok Live in all caps. That's T as in Timothy, I as in I got this, K as in Karen, T as in Timothy, O as in OMG, K as in Karen, L as in Levi, I as in I, V as in victory, and E as in elephant. You're going to type in all caps TikTok Live, and you're going to get 15 days for free. What happens after those 15 days? Well, thanks for asking, Gina. What you're going to do is you're going to just stay in the academy, pay $47 a month, because there's over 250 hours of training, and I know that you didn't watch 250 hours training in 15 days, so you're going to need to hang around a little bit longer, okay? But if you decide you don't want to hang out, that's fine. We still love you. All you have to do is cancel your subscription before you get charged, before the 15 days is up. So, you got 9 minutes, guys. And if you need a visual instructions, all you have to do is go to Karen's TikTok. It's the first video pinned on her page, and it will show you step by step everything that I just said, except for the little break where my daughter was chasing my son. So that happened.
The real question is, did he catch her?
No, she didn't. He got away.
He's fast.
He hid in the dryer.
His nickname is Zoom. Okay, well, I just want to tell you, we love you. This weekend is the last 2 day of the year. There's not going to be another 2 day. We have our 10-week mastermind starting the first week of January. You have to have taken the 2 day. So the 10-week mastermind is only for people that are wanting to be professional full-time advocates. And then November 20th, November 27th, December 4th, we have a matinee and an evening, a 9-hour training with myself, a 27-year advocate, a 28-year special education administrator, and a 48-year special educator who has been everything from a teacher and is currently a due process hearing officer, Mitchell Yell, Dr. Kurt Hewlett, and myself. You don't want to miss this. You have never had access to this kind of transparency, the district's position, the advocate's position, and then what are the legal requirements when there is division, discrepancies, and differences in the IEP meeting. And you know what? More importantly, we're going to have voting. You like voting, don't you? All right, so we will see you there. Remember, we get it right for the child, we get it right for everybody. We'll see you guys in the next training.